Hello and welcome. May the peace of God be with us all. Welcome to this gathering of God's people, wherever we are, whoever you are, however you're doing today. We are gathered together in God's love. And I hope this finds you safe and warm and well. And I would remind us all that we need to keep reaching out to help each other and also to ask for help if we need it in difficult, cold and dark times. In this reflection today, we find ourselves within a very human story with fear, frustration and focus, as Mary and Joseph have to go looking for Jesus, and Jesus, who has himself lost himself, seeking God. We're going to hear the story in a moment from Luke chapter 2 verses 41 to 50. But let's pause first to invite God in to guide us and guide our listening. God, known to us as Father, Son and Spirit, we pause, opening ourselves to you, that we may feel your presence, hear your voice, and glimpse you in this time, in this story, in our lives. Amen. Luke chapter 2 verses 41 to 50. Every year the parents of Jesus went to Jerusalem for the Passover festival. When Jesus was 12 years old, they went to the festival as usual. When the festival was over, they started back home, but the boy Jesus stayed in Jerusalem. His parents did not know this. They thought that he was with the group, so they travelled a whole day and then started looking for him among their relatives and friends. They did not find him, so they went back to Jerusalem looking for him. On the third day, they found him in the temple, sitting with the Jewish teachers, listening to them and asking questions. All who heard him were amazed at his intelligent answers. His parents were astonished when they saw him, and his mother said to him, "Son, why have you done this to us? Your father and I have been terribly worried trying to find you." He answered them, "Why did you have to look for me? Didn't you know that I had to be in my father's house?" But they did not understand his answer. So Jesus went back with them to Nazareth, where he was obedient to them. His mother treasured all these things in her heart. Jesus grew both in body and in wisdom, gaining favour with God and people. Amen. This is a story of Jesus' family, a Jewish family sharing in festivals and events with the rest of their community. In this case, they travelled together to and from Jerusalem for the Passover festival, and they do so all ages together, including the young Jesus, now 12 years old. Age 12, he'd be in S1 here, which can seem both really grown up and really young. That applied to us as 12-year-olds. It applies to those we know at that age just now, and it applied to a very human Jesus too. Apart from anything else we learn from this story, we discover that God with us could be a complicated, frustrating 12-year-old. God is with us in our turbulent ages and in the turbulence of adults trying to care for complicated, frustrating folk of all ages within our communities and families. But I'd like to take a few minutes for us to dwell with the feelings in the story, to see where we find God amongst those feelings, trusting that God is with us, whatever we are feeling. There are feelings of fear, uncertainty, worry, frustration. These are grounded in love for Jesus, wanting to keep him safe, having the responsibility to care for him, hoping he'll keep learning and growing. But caring that much, loving deeply, often leads to fear and worry. There can be huge frustration with the ones we love. There is often uncertainty about what we should be doing to best care for folk. And in this story, and in the church just now, some of the fear, worry, uncertainty and frustration is tangled up with worship and God and religion, adding another layer of difficulty. God, have you done this to us? I am terribly worried. I am afraid for the future. I'm trying to do the right thing, but caring seems to lead to greater fear and frustration. God, where are you in this? God, where am I in this? In Jesus, we find someone who has found the place he feels he should be. He's in the zone. He's found flow. There are times we feel we are glimpsing truth or wisdom or God. There are situations where things seem to click, or where we feel safe to listen, to ask questions, to share our deepest thoughts. These are grounded in love too. Love for God and love for ourselves, with our deep need to learn who we are. Yet can it feel selfish? Does it separate us from others? And in this story, and in the church just now, our worship and God and religion causing divisions rather than healing. God, I want to focus on you. I want to know you better. I want your love to transform me. But I know loving you is expressed in loving others. So these loves should not be in competition for my attention. God, where are you in this? God, where am I in this? The young Jesus still needed to grow in body and in wisdom. Mary needed to treasure what had happened in her heart, to learn from. We are always needing to grow in wisdom. We can always be learning to love God. We can always be learning to love ourselves. We can always be learning to love others. And God is always with us in the fears and frustrations that loving can lead us to, in the focus and attention that loving can give us, in helping us to grow in wisdom and love, if we open our hearts and minds within our very complicated human lives. For a few more minutes today, let's give ourselves and God time to listen to each other, to ask questions, to rest or to wrestle, to love one another. And now may the blessing of God, loving Father, earthborn Son, living Spirit, be with us and be in our living and our loving, in our fears and our frustrations, in our learning and our growing, today, this week and always. Amen.